Peace. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to talk about how a black power assassin tops off the 4th of July with a police execution. Some of you all celebrated the 4th of July. You celebrated white freedom. It was just an ordinary holiday, a gathering with the family, where y'all, by default, support white supremacy. And that was that, just like every year. It's a ritual. Consumerism. And the slaves showing patriotism to their masters. It's a super coon holiday. But not for Alexander John Bond. This black man had obviously been mistreated by the prison industrial complex. He had been mistreated by correctional officers and experienced the injustice that inevitably exists within the system for black people. Not only did he personally experience the injustice, but he also said police were responsible for murders inside of the correctional facilities, that black people are getting murdered and that is being blamed on the gangbangers, the Bloods and the Crips, as he says. So he got out not just thinking about his personal freedom like most people do on the 4th of July. They're at least celebrating their personal independence to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Alexander John Bond, this black power assassin, didn't care about his personal independence in America as a black man, as a free black man that was released from the prison industrial complex, that was out on probation. He had hatred in his heart for the system of white supremacy. And he felt compassion for those who are unjustly treated by the system of white supremacy. And he got out not concerned about his own freedom and independence, but he got out to bring about justice for those blacks who are unable to get justice in this wicked system. He wanted to draw attention to this fact, and he wanted to bring about some type of vigilante justice for blacks. He woke up or stayed up late, stayed up all night after the 4th of July, and to top it off, July 5th in the morning, in the Bronx, he decided, I'm going to bring about justice today. He didn't wake up to kill his fellow black brother and sister in the struggle. He didn't wake up to rob his fellow black brother and sister in the struggle. He didn't wake up to kill any civilians that are all ultimately, by default, victims of the system of white supremacy. He had one thing in mind: to go against those who act out unjust treatment against blacks in this society. So he found a police SUV command vehicle. And it was an officer in there filling out their daily notes from somebody that was either extorted, exploited, kidnapped, brutalized, incarcerated, stripped of their freedom, whatever. She was filling out her notes. And he decided to run up on a vehicle with a revolver, a handgun, and shoot in the window and he shoots this officer, this police officer, in the head and kills her, execution style. Some people said he killed her with a sense of purpose and that this was unprovoked. But his video shows that it wasn't unprovoked, because it was provoked by the mistreatment in the injustice system. It was provoked by the injustice that this man has seen with his own eyes, which traumatized him, and his own personal experience of injustice. And like Malcolm said, this is a example of the chicken coming home to the roost. Because when they act with injustice, when they serve injustice and they act with impunity, with neglect and disrespect and just degrade and disregard the rights, the freedom and humanity of black people within the walls of the correctional facilities and outside of the walls, that they create karma and that they will not get away with it. They put their fellow officers in danger, rookies, and officers who are not tied up into the politics of policing, that may not themselves directly acted out the brutality, the violence, and the ignorance against unsuspecting citizens that's deserving to be treated as human beings. They may have not personally acted these acts out, but they are part of a system, of a force, of a department, of a justice system that mows down blacks with impunity, that takes away the life and freedom of blacks perpetually, consistently. So they put their fellow officers in danger when this karma comes back to hunt them. Some say, well, she was black. How could he be a black power assassin? Because I saw t-shirts of him wearing Malcolm X, and I listened to his videos. A lot of them I'm loading now to my website because I think they're going to take them down. That's at www.kingnobleuncensored.com. You can go there and hear Alex, Xander, John Bond's videos, him talking about police brutality and issues dealing with black people and an unjust system. You can go there and watch those videos for free. www.kingnobleuncensored.com, and see his words for yourself and where he was coming from, so they can put this narrative on it as it being unprovoked. Because I know they're going to probably take down his Facebook page, because the brother was speaking truth to power. He even had prior incidents of attacking police with brass knuckles, assault on officers. So this vengeance that he had, this animosity he had with the police, didn't just begin in the Bronx July 5th with the execution of that female cop. This saga has been going on. But you can go and see those videos and hear some of what he got to say. He seemed to be very influenced by hip hop. He talked about Nas in the video that I saw. And he kind of tied it all together. He tied all the injustice together. But you can go see that for yourself. But he went for the command. He didn't care whether they was black or white. Let me get to the command center. Let me get the commanding vehicle and take that out. Execute it. Execute it. Well, some say it was a black woman cop, or a Hispanic in black, or Latino in black, or Dominican in black. How can we justify that? You work for a system that is unjust to black people in America. Facts. You spend your day carrying out the missions of an institution that extorts and exploits blacks and the poor all day long. You might not have directly participated in any acts personally of inhumanity, but you support the system. You wear the badge and the colors with pride and dignity of a system that kills blacks with impunity. And in that sense, there is no such thing as a good cop. Because you must carry out bad duties, exploitive and extortive duties. You work for a system, uphold a system, protect a system that it re-enslaves blacks, that perpetuate modern day slavery, that has transformed the image of slavery into prison industrial complex. There's no such thing as a good cop to me. There's just a cop. That's a fact. Just a cop. A good cop will quit their fucking job and get on the side of liberation and get on the side of black power, black nationalism, black supremacy, and black liberation. That's what a good cop would do. But if you continue to work for that institution where you have a quota to exploit, extort, and a license to kill blacks with impunity, there is no such thing as a good cop. So I don't feel sorry for that black woman officer that was murdered. I have no empathy or sympathy for her. That's a fact. And in her own mind and consciousness, she feel like she died with dignity. Because she died for a country and for a system that doesn't give a fuck about her. And it gives a double non-fuck about her. As a Latino and as an immigrant, as far as her immigrant community that she came from, or black, they give a fuck about either. And that's who she serves and that's who she protects. A lot of you so-called cops should quit the police station and volunteer and join true organizations that are for justice and for liberation of blacks. If you want to support something righteous and something that is effective and meaningful, and not just that which is going to guarantee you a salary and a pension fund and benefits, because that's no justification to back inhumanity with your life, to back injustice with your life for benefits, a pension fund, and a definite salary. You a hired hitman against blacks. You a hired killer. You a hired kidnapper. You a hired enslaver. You a patty roller, an overseer. And you sleep good at night knowing that that's where your paycheck is coming from. That's why I say there's no such thing as a goddamn good cop. Even if they're taking care of their family, you got to take care of your family with the dignity and integrity of what you're doing. Some people take care of their family robbing, stealing, murdering, and pilgrimage. I don't respect that. And some people take care of their family wearing a badge that gives them a license to kill their own, extort and exploit, and protect and defend and reinforce white imperialism within this country. But I digress. Alexander John Bond, of whom I'm calling a hero, the Black James Bond of the Black Power community, got sick and tired of the bullshit, didn't want to talk about it no more, didn't want to do no more videos about it, didn't want to sit by and watch again and get turned up and get turned down again. He said, fuck it, I'm going to make a statement today, I'm going to do something about it. And he went out and did it and executed it and gave his life for that. The only problem is he wasn't trained to survive, and he wasn't trained and prepared to do more damage. That's the only problem. But he was a Black Power assassin. Let's make this clear. And he fulfilled his mission. He found a soft target. He made a statement. And I hope that the police department and officers look at this killing and say, you know what, we need to change what we're doing. We need to change our policies, the way we're interfacing with the people, the way we're treating people, our own accountability, our checks and balances, that this needs to change, because inhumanity only breeds inhumanity. Murder only breeds more murder, and killing only breeds more killing. So if you continue to mistreat blacks inside of the walls or outside of the walls, eventually that mistreatment will visit you. That injustice will visit you. That pain and suffering will visit you. Let this be a lesson. Don't change the narrative unprovoked. Change what provoked it. Change the system. If you care about the innocent lives of people who are vulnerable and naive enough to wear that badge, like people in their naivety join the United States military and fight and defend and protect that which they know not of, how evil it is. They jump in front of the karma of that which they don't know how evil it is. And it refuses to change. So it's setting them up for death. It's setting them up for the carnage, for the slaying, for the massacre. Because it knows it's a beast. And it got a lot of blood on its hands, but it doesn't tell them. It doesn't tell them that. It tells them that they serving and protecting. But they'll be served by those who they mistreated under the auspices of protecting. That's a fact. So he really topped the 4th of July off, not as just a person carrying a gun, a part of a gun club, trying to flash his weapon, trying to just get murdered for walking around with a damn gun, for threatening, for intimidation, for making videos, for inciting violence. Nah, the hell with that. He went out and was proactive and carried out a military-style execution of the police. In every video, he talked about his willingness to give his life for justice, the willingness to give his life for humanity. Very deep. Very deep. And that's what whites should be expecting from blacks on and after the 4th of July. Because white freedom meant black slavery and black mistreatment for over the last 100 years, for over the last 400 years. White freedom has meant black death. White freedom has meant black subjugation and black mistreatment without intervention by any external forces or any internal forces. And now the tables are turning. The sleeping giant is waking up. And they're finding no justification for sitting back idly and passive, watching and participating and witnessing their own brutality. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Donate and don't hate. Follow me on Instagram at www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Subscribe to my new YouTube page right now. King Noble Guru. Black Supremacy.